If anyone still thought Paris Saint-Germain was just a showy rich club, the 2024-2025 season utterly crushed that stereotype. They were convincingly good in their playing style, results, and even every individual in the squad. This was a team not highly rated at the start of the season. Many players were even considered risky or ineffective investments. But the more they played, the more they surprised football fans. They not only helped Paris Saint-Germain win Ligue 1, but also swept away all doubts by winning the club's first Champions League trophy in history. The interesting thing is that the brightest stars were precisely those who were once the most underestimated.
Let's start with the goalkeeper. Gianluigi Donnarumma was once a symbol of Milan's future, and he won the Euros with Italy, earning the Player of the Tournament award. But since arriving in Paris, Donnarumma has been constantly doubted for his poor judgment in coming out and making mistakes at critical moments. However, this season, with the absence of Sergio Ramos in the Paris defence and experience being a scarce asset, Donnarumma became a solid pillar with 35 saves in the Champions League. This included a series of incredible saves against Arsenal and Inter Milan. His reflexes, decision-making and presence in the penalty area all improved. He might not be the prodigy Donnarumma of yesteryear, but now he is a man who knows how to keep the entire system balanced.
In front of Donnarumma was a seemingly makeshift defence that turned out to be a perfect blend of old and new. After countless times his courage in big games was questioned, Marquinhos finally had a complete season, leading the PSG defence to the pinnacle of Europe. He wasn't flashy and didn't need too many tackles to prove his influence. Instead, his composure, ability to read the game, and how he conveyed his intentions to younger players like William Pacho are what made Marquinhos a true captain. Pacho was a delightful surprise. Who would have thought an Ecuadorian centre-back from Frankfurt would become a pillar of the Champions League winning team? He didn't receive much expectation or high praise from the media, but he was extremely solid in the final, preventing inter-forwards from getting a clear shot at Donnarumma. He won 7 out of 8 duels, made 9 clearances and 4 interceptions. Those aren't ordinary numbers, they are the statistics of a top-class centre-back.
On the right flank, Hakimi exploded like he did at his peak in Dortmund. Not only did he contribute defensively and offensively, Hakimi scored 8 goals and provided 12 assists this season. More importantly, he was the one who opened the scoring in the final. His tactic of cutting inside like a third striker caught Inter off guard. Meanwhile, on the left flank, Nuno Mendes, who was plagued by injuries last season, returned strongly. His surging runs, pinpoint crosses, and even his ability to cut inside and play like a number 10 all show a complete left-back in the making. Paris Saint-Germain had 2 flanks playing like 2 cannons, and that opened up every possibility for them to dictate the game. Mendes' class needs no further discussion. In just one season, he completely shut down 3 of the world's most dangerous wingers, Salah, Saka and especially the monster Lamine Yamal, while still having an impact on the attacking front. That's just incredible. Overall, Mendes' performance this season deserves the title of the top left-back in Europe. The midfield is the clearest illustration of how cleverly Paris Saint-Germain transitioned from a star-dependent team to a collective unit. No longer was Messi dropping deep to dictate play, no longer was Verratti carrying the burden alone. Now the trio of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha and João Neves are not superstars, but they form a perfect trio. Well, Vitinha and Neves, if they continue like this, are on their way to becoming superstars. Fabian played simply but effectively. His 1-2 touch passes, ability to handle the ball in tight spaces and excellent positional awareness made him the backbone of ball circulation. Vitinha, meanwhile, became the model modern midfielder, good with the ball, intelligent movement and especially courage. In the match against Arsenal, Vitinha was the one who assisted the decisive goal. In the final, he circulated the ball with 96% accuracy and made almost no mistakes. As for João Neves, the signing that was considered a waste of money at the beginning of the season, he proved why PSG paid nearly 70 million euros for a 19-year-old player. Neves not only held possession, but also served as a link between the midfield and attack.
While Fabian and Vitinha handled the distribution, Neves was the one who broke through the opponent's pressing lines. 5 goals, 7 assists, and most importantly, he was present at every crucial point. Neves is no longer just a Benfica prodigy, but the future midfielder of Paris Saint-Germain and the Portuguese national team.
Moving further up the pitch, this is the area that makes people re-evaluate PSG's personnel strategy. No Mbappe? Then let's see what Paris Saint-Germain can do. Desiree Doué, 15 goals, 14 assists, MVP of the final. The youngest player to score a brace in a Champions League final, and he's only 19 years old. Doué not only played well, but also with astonishing maturity. From his quick turns and one-touch plays to his decisive shots, everything made it seem like he was 25 and had played 5 Champions League seasons. In the centre, Ousmane Dembele's resurgence is perhaps the most noble-worthy story of the season. From a player deemed uncontrollable at Barcelona, labelled a €135 million flop, Dembele has now been transformed by Luis Enrique into the nucleus of the pressing system, playing like a true false nine. He no longer hugged the touchline as before, but drifted into the middle, leading every pressing wave, dribbling, holding up the ball, and constantly putting pressure on opposing centre-backs. His 21 goals this season are just a tip of the iceberg. The submerged part is hundreds of purposeful presses, continuous mobility, and how he disrupted the opponent's entire defensive structure. Dembele didn't need to be served like Mbappe. He actively created space for his teammates, created chances himself, and finished them himself. In a system without a true central striker, Dembele was both the tempo setter and the finisher. In the Champions League final, no one contested the ball more than Dembele, and no one caused Inter's defence more trouble than him. Enrique didn't need a striker who scored 40 goals, he needed someone who could turn pressing into attack, and Dembele did exactly that, and even more.
And finally, the late arrival who turned out to be the decisive piece. Kvaratskhelia joined Paris Saint-Germain in January. Kvaratskhelia integrated incredibly quickly and became a new threat on the left flank. The combination of his intricate technique and ability to disrupt defences forced any opponent to drop deeper. From the quarterfinals to the final, Kvaratskhelia consistently created at least 3 clear chances per game. That wasn't just an individual contribution, it was how he opened up space for Dembele, Doué, and even the fullbacks to operate. The truth is, no single individual carried the team. At Paris Saint-Germain this season, there was no Messi, Neymar, or Mbappe for everyone to rely on. Instead, there was a system imbued with Enrique's spirit. A group of individuals who didn't need the spotlight still shone when needed. Donnarumma silently made saves. Pacho quietly shut down strikers. Fabian, Vitinha, and Neves controlled the tempo without fanfare. Doué and Dembele delivered at the right time, and Kvaratskhelia was ready to explode when the opponent tired.
PSG is no longer a team of big names just for selling shirts. They are a team built on a winning formula, and every link in that system, from goalkeeper to forward, deserves to be called one of the best players in their position this season. Not because of their fame, but because of their actual performance on the pitch. A style of football that isn't overly flashy, but is more effective and emotional than ever before. There was a time when PSG spent hundreds of millions of euros just for media smiles. They signed Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, and lived under the pressure to win the Champions League immediately. But after the 2022 World Cup, when all 3 icons left in different ways, Paris Saint-Germain was truly liberated from its own shadow. Without the names hogging the headlines, Luis Enrique and the board shifted to a different kind of football, less sensational, but more pragmatic and effective. They started thinking like a proper football club, not a show business. Of course, PSG still spent heavily. From the 2024 season until now, they've invested around €240 million into the current first team. However, they no longer focused on a single name. Instead of pouring everything into one iconic superstar, they distributed it across multiple transfers, such as João Neves for €70 million, Desiree Doué for €60 million, Barcola for €45 million, Dembele for €50 million, Kvaratskhelia with a total package of €75 million, and Pacho for about €25 million. These may not be Galacticos in the newspapers, but they are players perfectly suited to PSG's tactical direction. From now on, PSG will aim to achieve many successes and are ready to compete for more prestigious elephant ear trophies.